What's going on, 5-9 mobile gamers? This is Nolar talking to you. I've got our latest member to 5-9 at the moment, Michael, or AchimelDL. Say hello to the beautiful people out there.
Hey guys, I'm new here. It's fun.
Yeah, we haven't put him through the paces. The hazing hasn't begun. Anyways, we're here to talk to you guys about that time I was reincarnated as a slime, Isekai memories. As you've seen, we did a first playthrough. We've also done a first impressions within the first 72 hours of the game. Giving you what we thought about it, but it's our turn. It's been about 5-6 days at this point. We wanted to ask you guys on Twitter, if you haven't followed us, it's 59gaming1, what your thoughts of the game. Both good and bad, and here we go. So first off, Salmon says, really fun so far, animations are great, and grinding materials is painless, but there's a lot of quality of life updates that can be implemented, and 5-star shards should be easier to obtain unless I'm missing something. What are your thoughts there, Michael?
Animations, they are great. They most definitely are really good. Most grinding of material is pretty nice, except for the obvious conquest stuff. That's endgame stuff. A lot of people are on that right now. Like, I've seen some people like just today start to do some expert stuff, so it's a little bit slower on that end, but definitely quality of life can start to be implemented soon, I feel like.
No, I agree with you there. In particular with the conquests, I think the issue most people have is you really want to take a mono team, and it's very hard unless you're a whale, just like myself, to build a lot of mono teams, have the resources and even the characters to build it, right? So with that said, I can understand people's frustration because they want to get to it, but in all honesty, you just got to pace yourself because they're throwing out a lot of stuff at us right now, and there's a lot of things you can do with your stamina, which we don't have enough, but we'll talk more about that later. So okay, Z-Hall, again, he's going to go meme it up, which is him and Kelbert, by all means. The auto-repeat function while working the app is closed and not actually doing battles with your phone all night is such a good mechanic. Yes, this is what we call parallel processing in the game. Literally, you can tell it to just auto-farm and then close the app, right? So if it takes 30 minutes, come back 30 minutes later, blah, 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 blah. So it's actually kind of nice if you're somewhat busy or you're going to be away for a while. You just let it parallel process while you're gone, and you'll obtain all the mats and all that kind of stuff. So what are your thoughts on parallel processing as a whole right there, Michael?
Such a good mechanic. Not the first time we've ever seen it, but the first time we've seen it in a mainstream gacha game, though.
This is true.
And one thing funny is that you can start parallel processing, close out the app, then auto repeat something else as well overnight, double the progress.
Yes, yeah, it's actually it's pretty good. I mean, what's interesting is like the ranking feature here. Normally in other gacha games would like increase your stam, but the stam is kind of slow. Like by that I mean you don't really increase the maximum stam over time. So honestly, you could just parallel process for the rest of the night, go to bed, wake up, it'll have all your stam back, and then just parallel process again while you go to work or go to class or whatever the case may be. And so you're not really letting your stamina cap out and like missing out on potential farming you could do, right? So that's pretty good. So all right, moving on. Mr. Bundy 20, the game is great so far. It has some issues that can be improved, such as the difficulty of getting gems. Yes, it's a little slow on that side.
Yeah.
Video errors on BlueStacks. Well, I mean, you're playing on an emulator, so there are some issues to be had there. And the sheer difficulty of the new Milm event, like seriously, could not be any more difficult to get a single character. 9 out of 10 rating. Yeah, it's kind of stingy on the premium currency, because once you like 3-star a stage, you're only getting 5 when you need 300 to do a multi, right? So, or 30 to do a character. So it seems a little stingy on that end, and that doesn't help that the pre-registration was a login bonus as opposed to straight up giving you all the magic crystals up front. They want you to make sure you log in. So yeah, it's not great, but I mean, we have seen much worse. Thoughts, Michael?
Yeah. The thing about the stingy currency is that I unfortunately saw this kind of coming because of Bandai. Let's face it, Bandai.
Yeah, it's just the way it's their monetization
fine.
process. Yeah, it sucks. I know. Okay. I like the battle system. Should have made parallel processing available for the new event. Yes, yes, yes.
Please. I'm dying here. Please.
Yeah, otherwise a really good and fun game. Yeah, personally, like again, as I mentioned in the first impressions, I don't know much about the IP. I've never watched it or read the manga, so this is all kind of new to me. And on top of that, there's an original story here. Well, at least parts of it are original story, so it's pretty good for me overall. But the parallel processing, yeah, it makes sense for the story or grinding out ability mats and stuff like that, but why didn't they do that for the event? That kind of blows my mind. So yeah,
it also really, really does blow my mind, because it's like, this is something that people will absolutely be sinking a lot of time into, as we've already taken note of by grinding this current event. So why not have parallel processing? It's just confusing. This is confusing at why they would make this approach in such a grind heavy game.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious about that too. Maybe we need to make our voices heard. At the very least, they just should, if they want to quote unquote waste our time manually doing this, just tell us like, hey, we didn't plan on doing parallel processing for events, only for story and like farmable training events. So that would make sense. It would suck, but at least I would hear something. That's what I would like to do. Nick here says grinding out the free-to-play unit is way worse than grinding for an LR in duo combat. I don't know. I mean, I see his point in the sense that you have to hit milestones in order to grind out the new unit. But if you're stamina starved, which I think we all are, yeah, that sucks ass. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, I see his perspective, but it's not bad in the sense of like you're waiting for drops when drops could be a 2% drop and you're just grinding it out multiple times, versus like, okay, I just have to hit this certain milestone. It'll take me, you can calculate the runs, right? Depending on your bonus, blah, 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 you'll get there in 10 runs and 15 runs and 6 runs, whatever the case may be, then you're done. So I wouldn't say it's as bad as Dokkan, where the drop rates could be horrendous. I'm talking like pre-year 2, like all of those drop rates were bad, but I don't know.
I remember that because I actually played Dokkan around that time frame.
Yeah. So, but do you think the grinding for the free-to-play units is pretty bad overall for Isekai memories, or you're like, no, it's not that bad?
I would say that given the fact that you can literally get a unit up to 6-star for free and get 2 pieces of equipment that boost that unit's attack and I believe it was defense by like 20%. I would say that it's pretty damn worth the grind, and they will probably rival gacha units when they're fully maxed out. So I would say it's worth it. I wouldn't say it's worse. The gear portion, especially when it comes to the reforging, that is just atrocious. So right now I'm trying to max out Benemaru's weapon. I'm about to hit my second pity.
That's true. Yeah, that's unfortunate, but at least there's a pity on re-rolling equipment. I'll say that much.
I am very glad about that, but that still does not make it any less painful.
This is true. It's true. It's not less painful, but compared to Epic 7 or Grand Cross, yeah, let's take what we can get here. All right.
Yeah.
So overall, it seems like everyone here is saying, I mean, some people say it's trash, but everyone says it's fairly fun. There's some good systems, but some quality of life changes like, Spud himself here, Happy One Potato, loving it so far, but could definitely use some improvement, like being able to lock equipment to units. That's pretty true. Can get quite annoying when you auto-equip and it switches off equipment made up for certain units for them. Like, yeah, that makes sense. Like when you do the optimize and then equip all, it just shuffles everything consistently. So yeah, that kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie, that does suck. But hey, maybe that's something coming down the pipeline. So all right, well, these are your responses to what we asked, if you guys enjoyed it. Now, I think for the most part, Michael and I and the rest of the 5-9 crew who have been playing it pretty much echo your sentiments, but there's a specific amount of stuff we definitely want to talk about that we're not exactly thrilled about, and hopefully they will improve in order to make this a viable gacha for the future. So the first one that Michael, because you are free to play, you're not a spender like myself.
Yes, I've not spent a single penny into this game yet.
Good, stay that way. But the very first thing you brought up that you weren't happy about was the low stamina. So go ahead and talk about it. I'm sure everyone's experienced it, but really, from your perspective, what is the issue and what can they do to rectify it?
Okay, so my main issue with just how everything is set up in general right now is that the stamina pots, they only recover 10 stamina. I mean, well, sure, most of the standard stuff, it does have a lower stamina cost, but this current event really, really brought that into the limelight, that it's not a lot at all. Because the expert stage that most people are farming, it costs 15 stamina. So that means you're using 1.5 pots for every one run, in which in order to get done with said event, that is a lot of pots. I mean, well, sure, you can get pots via like the daily bond stuff, and as well as other forms of dailies as well, but I don't think it's enough. We need much more stamina. I'm already down to like roughly under 20 pots, and it's really, really alarming because I really want to farm this event, but it's like I can't farm it because I'm gonna run out. Then eventually I can't do anything, and I'll just be in a pit. So we need more stamina, or just outright increase the amount the pots will refill, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think a two-pronged approach of getting more of the 10 stam pots in addition to getting like percentage pots, like other games where you're like, oh, half of your stam is full and then another, or 100% of your stam is full. I think that's more useful. The downside, as I mentioned before, is usually with those games that do percentage of your max stam, you increase your overall maximum stamina over time with ranking or whatever the case may be. So far, like, I think you initially start off at like 80 max stamina, and I'm almost close to 90 at this point. So like with the amount of ranking up I'm doing or whatever else, it's really not that not that big of a leap of improvement. So maybe percentage of your max stam would be okay, maybe not to some people, but yeah, overall it's pretty bad. Like I'm at the point I can clear the 15 stam portion of the event, and that's actually 2 stam pots every time, right? Every run I want to do. So I'm like, I started off with over 100. I bought the stam pack for the daily one for the month where you get 5 pots a day, but that's only 50 stam. Literally, I do 3 to 4 runs. You do 4 runs, you're already over the limit of how much stam I'm getting from the $8 that I paid for like the month. So yeah, stamina is gonna be an issue. I can absolutely see it, because the other problem is you pay premium currency, which is not a bad idea, but you're paying 10 magic crystals for like a full stam refill, which sucks because getting 10 means I have to clear 2 stages at 3 stars, and it's like, that's not worth it. It's not worth the magic crystals to do it at all. Like even if I was a whale, I would kind of think twice personally. So stamina is gonna be an issue. I totally agree with you, but yeah, let's move on to the second point you had here. Banner pacing. Now, a game literally launched last week, and we already have our first event banner. I think this is pretty quick, but I mean, even for me, it seems pretty quick. I don't know about you. What do you think?
It was definitely quick, but well, the main thing for me is that it immediately dropped. It wasn't like a day before, like, oh hey, look, this is now coming out. Get ready, start to get prepared. They literally immediately dropped it. It was literally a bombshell in everybody's farming plans, everything. Yep. It was just a massive shock, a massive surprise. I'm glad that they are general pool though. Unlike some games that do make like new banners, limited only, Genshin Impact. It's nice at least. It's nice, but yeah. At least I can skip.
Yeah, you can. The good thing, this is the one good thing, is the pity is strictly for the new units, right? So if you were to go in pretty hard, like I did, I went through pity once. That was it, and I managed to pull the protector right before I went and bought the unit. So I was like, okay, cool. I don't need to go back in, right? So yeah, it was literally out of nowhere. Normally they would or Bondi usually gets you prepped and be like, hey. In 24 hours, we're dropping a new thing. Get ready, right? But here it was just like out of the blue. It was like, oh, okay, there's something going on. Cool. But that's not a bad thing per se, but it's definitely something I'm not used to. So the pacing is gonna be interesting because I think there were leaks already for the next banner. Now, whether or not those are real because they came out on Reddit, could be someone that data mined it or just straight up made them up. I don't know, can't confirm or deny. If the next banner is coming up pretty quick, that is a pretty fast pacing, honestly. So, and the thing is, this is a simultaneous release amongst all the servers, so it's not like they have to catch up to JP or the Korean servers or something along those lines. I'm a little wary at how fast things are coming out, even for me, right? So, mostly because the pricing is not cheap at all because it's Bondi. But
yay.
Yeah, I hate you all. Okay, moving on to this is the point I brought up, which is parallel processing is fantastic, and we mentioned it earlier against someone's tweet here. Why the hell is there parallel processing for the event? I personally think it's because the stamp costs are so high, you'd just be really pissed that you had to waste like 9 stamp pots for just like 6 runs and come back in like 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Maybe that's why, but it's still, I would have preferred that because then I could just walk away for 20 minutes and come back later. You know what I mean? Pretty weird thought processes to not put parallel processing for the event. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely do agree with all that. I'm just confused. Like, who had the bright idea? It's like, you know what? The one limited thing in this entire game, let's not let them auto repeat. Let's actually make them farm.
Yeah.
It's a head scratcher.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they'll change their minds down the line, like, but we'll see how that turns out.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. All right, the other last point I brought up was that getting aid for your buildings is only once a day. In other city builders, when you request aid, it's really for the building you're doing. I can maybe see this as a way to prevent server overload, because if you have a building that's got 10 minutes and then you ask for friends to help you out, well, then once the 10 minutes and then 10 minutes are over, you do another one that's now 30 minutes. You ask again, it could just overload the servers. Probably that's why they only limited it to once a day. But other city builder games I played let you do it as many times as you want, right? So kind of scratching my head about that, but I don't know. Your thoughts on that one?
But for me personally, I'm okay with it because I do play like another game that does have a lot of city building in it baked into everything. Kind of similar to this game, but not really. It did not have this feature, so honestly, I'm glad it does have this feature. I didn't know exactly how other games did that, but like having a daily, sure, it's a daily. Why not? It's friend points. You can use those for tickets, more stamina pots. It's okay, but it definitely could be improved upon. Making it multiple times a day. Maybe instead having that friend point you get only be the one time a day. Maybe that instead. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting.
Alrighty, and the last point you brought up, so the fifth point that Michael here told me was he is not sure about the daily longevity of the game, which makes sense because right now all we have is this event to farm, which is good, something to do, and the honeymoon phase continues on. But if it's just story and events, there's got to be something else, right? So, elaborate your point a little bit more.
Okay, so I feel like I do need to kind of defend myself here on this one because when you look at the dailies, all right, immediately one that sticks out to me is once again coming back to the facility helper thing. You want to do one of those per day. What if you max out all of your facilities? Right. That daily, you cannot get that daily. And therefore, you will then not be able to get the daily gems, which is BS. Bond. What if you max out every character's bond? That's also a worthless one. Enhancing equipment. What if all of your characters already have equipment on them? No more needing to enhance. You're literally wasting resources at that point just for one daily. Like, the dailies need to be reworked. About half of them, I would say. Those are just the 3 examples off of the tip of my head, at least. So that's just me being me, I guess.
No, you're absolutely right. Here's the thing: when the bug happened, where if you were requesting help or you try to give help, it would crash. I was thinking I can't complete the daily. And then the way these dailies are structured is you need to complete all the dailies in order to get the crystals. So I was getting pretty angry because I was like, well, I can't complete the daily because of this bug, which means I can't even get the extra crystals. Now, again, me, it doesn't really matter that much, but if I was in your shoes, I would be super mad, right? So the real fix to this is what you said, is not necessarily require all the dailies to fulfill the magic crystals to get the free ones. Put it like complete 4 out of like 8, right? So
Yeah.
obviously requesting help, once you're done with your facilities, you can't really request help more. Or if you're done with equipment, those are like useless for you, right? So they need to add extra dailies for the mid-game, end-game players so that they don't have to be like, well, I can't do anything, I'm not getting what I want, blah, 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 blah. So I totally see your perspective where the dailies themselves need to be changed and increased overall. Gives you more options to do things, because once you get to mid-game, well, end game, I'm in mid-game now, I could see that taking forever, right? So like,
Yeah.
like some of my buildings are taking 10 to 12 hours to finish. So it's like, well, I have to request it, but then once they're done, like what else do I do, right? Unless they keep adding story and all that kind of stuff, there's really not much else. So anyways, all right, this is it for the video. Didn't want to go too long, but we got your thoughts on it. Seems like a lot of you are pretty impressed by the game, but we're hoping for extra quality of life changes to come, which is understandable. Anything else you want to say, Michael, before we close out here?
I'm also thoroughly enjoying the game. Issues aside, this is honestly a fun game. I've been having fun with it. It's a nice change of pace from what I'm used to. I like it.
Yeah, I am thoroughly enjoying it as well, guys. I'm having a good time with it, but of course, let's hope for better quality of life updates. Some stuff that we suggested, maybe they'll improve down the line. And everyone that gives feedback, I hope they listen. So with that said, guys, on behalf of myself and Michael, thanks a lot. If you guys liked the video, hit that like button. If you're new to the 5-9 Mobile channel and want to see more news on mobile gaming, please hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you know when we go live with videos. With that said, we'll see you all in the next one. We're out.